Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. 3 weeks divorced come Wednesday. Update last time I posted. So above is the last post I made. Still kind of messed up inside and it's actually really bothering me right now. My ex-wife, crazy to type it out, was on her way to work and so was I. We both stopped at the same intersection. I was going to turn left under the overpass and she was turning right to hop onto the freeway I had just gotten off of. My heart and stomach leapt with the same exciting metal butterflies cutting up my insides in the familiar exciting and recently horrible ways. We made eye contact until the light changed and drove on our separate ways. I couldn't imagine a much more apt way for things to be literally and figuratively, but nonetheless here I am typing out my pain, still feeling the longing, sadness, anger, disappointment, nausea, and a myriad of other depression-inducing emotions. For the love of God, I just wish I could feel indifference. Duck this deep-seated love that I wish I could rip out, root and all. Duck her and her bullshit excuses. Duck being in love with her still because it is exactly what I don't want to feel, but there is. I have the sweetest nightmares of her, and recently they've never been more vivid. Her scent, her warmth, the feeling of her hair touching the skin of my face and blending with my beard, the feel of her soft skin against my bare chest, the rhythm of her heart against my arms when I held her in the dark. I hate that she's left such an imprint on me when it was just so ducking easy for her to destroy everything that we had built together. Yes, I know, it's over. Yes, I know, the feeling might never go away. Yes, I know it'll take time to process the trauma. I'm tired of processing, and feeling the pain flowing, and crying, and reminding myself that it's okay, and also reminding myself that it's okay to be beyond not okay. I miss feeling even-keeled. Every day is like I'm standing on a platform balancing on a damn barrel. Some days, it's all good, I got this, balance can be maintained, and I've been doing it for like 8 months so I should be used to this. Other days, it's just like I can't find a single bit of relief from the ducking pain of betrayal and falling off the stupid ass platform because balance is bullshit right now. Clearly we can tell what kind of day this one was. Always gets worse before it gets better, right? I ducking hate platitudes. The whole story up to the divorce update. Untagged. Disclaimer, I tried posting this earlier as an explanation of what went down when everything first began, as some people have asked how this all started and how I ended up where I am now. This is not recent, but started back in July of last year. I'm far removed from all this and grateful for all the advice, encouragement and kicks in the ass from people that have experienced and are being supportive. Alright. So, as far as things went, it all began rolling downhill in July of 2020. June was great, we had gone to a little getaway with our son and his friend. They hung out, we had fun together and sex was good. July came around and we were having issues. Spats over stupid little things, her not interested in intimacy, I'd be interested in her day but her showing no interest in me, extended times in the bathroom as well as baths all of the damn time, and yet she wants to complain that we don't spend time together. July passes like this. August gets more strained and she even tries to act like things are alright. Shows me lingerie, says it's going to be for my birthday. Birthday comes around, she buys me a couple of records but nothing. I had a long day at work, she did too, supposedly, and we just end up cooking and chilling together. I figure it's a weekday, it's whatever. She offers sex but doesn't really seem there. Eventually in September, we had a few big fights, one of which she asked to have some time to herself. I thought this was suspect, and I was crazy distraught as I felt our marriage was crumbling. I was right. I took the dogs and left to stay with my brother and family for the night. The next day I came home in the afternoon. She had said she wanted to go out with her friends before I got there and I never stopped her from being with her friends. I got home around 12. She got home at 6-ish. I saw her, told her I was happy to see her. She mumbles. The month was terrible and that week was especially so. She's not kissing me, she's rude and snide and straight up cruel. I'm asking her to talk to me, to tell me what's going on. I notice things aren't right and I want us to be okay. An acquaintance, now a really good friend, sees me at work and shows concern. I explain to him how I love my wife. We've been together 8.5 years and 1.5 married at this point, and I don't know what to do. He recommended marriage counseling and says he's been through something like this. Suggest I get the 5 love languages and another I can't think of ATM. I read up immediately. I come to the realization that I had been prioritizing my work, own my own business with my brother, because we've been overloaded since COVID and business has been booming, but nonetheless I never stopped trying to love or be intimate, in conversations and physically, but she had dropped off. The very same day I come home, she's sick and I take care of her. The next morning as she's getting ready I calmly and lovingly ask if we could talk a bit before she leaves. I tell her everything I learned from the book. I read the whole damn thing the night before, and that I had felt I had been inattentive and that I loved her and that we should go to marriage counseling and try to fix what we have because we love each other and we have our son. Something I said must have triggered something in her because she broke down crying and began to repeat that I was going to hate her. Eventually, after telling her to just be honest with me, she admitted that she cheated on me the past weekend when she said she was going to be with her friends. I was in shock, blown away, but I loved my wife, I loved my marriage, I loved my son, so like a fool I told her that it was okay, that I could forgive her, but she had to completely come clean about all of it. She then clammed up. No names, no info, just that she had been talking to AP since July, and had carried on an emotional affair until that day in September. How can I believe her? I don't. I tell her she's made a joke of our marriage, our vows. This was on a Thursday. I try to have a discussion with her that night, she refuses and gives little. Says she never agreed to talk about things but that she told AP that she had told me about them. Friday rolls around and it's the same. I'm dry heaving, hadn't slept, felt crappy, angry, destroyed inside. Eventually Saturday comes and my brother, seeing the wreck that I am, tells me to go stay home and handle what's going on. She gets up, goes works out, and all the while I'm a wreck. I call my father, who has been the cheater in his marriage, but my mother and him worked it out and have had a fantastic marriage for 38 years now, and ask for his advice. He tells me it's not a mistake, she knew exactly what she was doing, and she needs to make a choice, and if she doesn't, then that tells you everything you need to know. I get myself together because I am a wreck. I clean the house and make sure my son is all taken care of. Then I go down to our apartment gym and tell her that she needs to come and talk to me once she's done. Half an hour later she comes up, and I calmly tell her that she needs to choose our family and our marriage or AP. I don't know is all I get, and she asks for a little time. I agree on the basis that she doesn't contact him or see him. She agrees and goes running for 2 hours. I can see where she is on a nap. She comes back, finally notices that I had cleaned the apartment and cries. I ask her what she shows, again it's a slew of I don't knows. I press, and she says it's over. I say okay, and though I'm crying, I grab a duffel bag, fill it with some clothing, and she's crying because I'm actually leaving. I kiss my son, tell him that I'm going to stay at his uncle's for a little and he's distracted by video games and he's okay. I tell her I'll be back in the morning for the rest of my stuff and I bail. The next morning, I get there at like 6, and I immediately grab garbage bags and walk into our bedroom, into the bathroom/closet, and start loading everything that is mine into them. She sits up in bed with tears and is just watching me. Asked what I'm doing and I told her that she had made her decision and it started sobbing. My heart is broken, but it's also wanting my wife. Again, like a fooey, get into bed with her and hold her and kiss her for half an hour. I tell her it doesn't have to be this way, but she has to come clean. Silence. So I'm furious and I yell at her that all of this was for nothing. I bag my shit up, tell her that my father and brother are at the cafe 5 minutes away waiting for my call to come and help me get the heavy stuff. By this time it's 11 in the morning. And I had bagged everything. She asks what we will tell our son. We go and wake him up and give him a sham of an excuse about communication breaking down. She says she doesn't want to see my family, don't blame her because she's ashamed. She takes our son to go shopping and I can tell he's a little messed up and confused. I call my dad and brother and they come. We grab my 3 TVs, all the electronics that I had gotten to make our place smart. Of course I left my son all his cool stuff. I love him and none of this is his fault. And before I leave, she texts me not to go and to wait for her and our son. I wait, the place looks like it's been robbed, and she walks in. She tells me not to go. Also that our son knocked over a display in anger and says he wishes we could still be a family. I give her a face that says nothing good and then I tell her that of course he does and it's what I want, but what the hell does she want? Again with the I don't knows. I say that there isn't a point for me to stay. I make her tell her parents because they would be furious if they had to find out from our son. The week coming is the first week of October. I try to keep our son on a schedule. I show up for him to take him to school and make him breakfast, but I'm also taking him to his grandparents' house some morning when I have to show up early at work. They ask what's going on, I dump everything on them. I tell them I want us to fix things but she is sticking to her dumb I don't knows. Her dad is angry and sad for me since we've come to love and respect each other. She's texting me about how she hates herself and that she can't believe she did all this, all the while she's still talking to AP. Even goes to ask if we can get back together, and I tell her that she knows what she has to do if she wants me back. I pick up my son from practice during that weekend being him home. He wants to show me something and I agree because I love him and we hang out for an hour in his room. I come out to the living room and she's a wreck. Asks me to sit down with her and she gets close to me and wraps her arms around me. I almost give in and I stand up, and I say that I'm not doing this if she's still talking or having anything to do with this guy. She says she ended it so I sit down and I hold her. We even kiss a little and I touch her, but then the phone rings a different ring and I can tell she's panicking inside. She says he's been calling all day since she ended it. I look at her in the eyes and ask her to show me that she ended it. She starts crying and refuses. I told her again, if she wants me she knows what she has to do. Throughout the week I'm still coming back to take my son to school and even making meals to put into the fridge for him. She's not doing laundry and I have to force myself not to do it for her, but I notice that my son's sheets are filthy, he stank from not showering, and I had to scold her because she's not taking care of him. That weekend her friends wanted to take her to the Ren Fair, and I'm floored by how she's playing all good. She asks if I can be there for our son just for a couple of hours. I say yes because I want time with him, but even I know that I'm not really ready for that. I agree anyway. I show up after work to pick him up from his friend's house and 4 other boys walk out and jump in my car. Apparently it was a sleepover. I'm furious. Not at him, but at her. I call her, she answers and realizes that I'm going to leave if she doesn't get back. It takes 3 hours for her to get back and she's acting all pissy about it. She has the gall to say that she shouldn't have to feel bad about celebrating her birthday with her friends, and I tell her that she should feel bad because of all the shit is going on. That she took advantage and that this was never going to happen again. She cries and says, what am I only supposed to be a mother? I don't even say anything to that, but god damn it yes, you chose this before I even came into the picture. We talk a little more and she even invites me to stay, sleep in the same bed, and be together. I say no and I leave. My son seemed sad. I keep going to and from even though it's draining me emotionally and my bank account because I now am staying 45 minutes away. Her parents only know what I've told them because she's dodging them too. It's the week of the 25th of October, my ex's birthday week, and it's been weird and I'm shamefully doing the pick me dance. It's Monday and I am sending sweet video messages and she's being nonchalant about it all. I go in the morning to take care of our son, take him to school, and then I do what I do on her birthday week. I start with a small gift to begin working my way up. I dust off a photo of us three in a pumpkin patch when we first got together. It's a beautiful picture. I'm about to leave, when I get this itch inside of me. I don't know what the hell provoked me, but I started snooping. I found a new shoebox, opened it and there's a new vibrator, new dildo, and new butt plugs. I threw all of our toys out when I left. She even kept the packaging and the postmarks were dated the following day that I had left, and they even had a gift message with the prick's name. And then I noticed a letter inside this shoebox and it was from a woman, but with the same last name of AP's other gift message. I open it and see a photo of a family. 2 little boys, an infant, a dog, and a man and a woman. Along with it is a letter telling my ex that she had ruined her marriage and that she could keep AP and that she had found out because of the toys he had sent her. I took photos, and went straight to her parents and explained what I had found out. Her dad gave me the same advice that you all gave me. Get a lawyer, get all my ducks in a row, and then file. I did that very day. I gave her the paperwork when it arrived a few days later and for months we sat on it. Soccer games, a few intimate nights, I wouldn't dare have sex with her though it was there. Eventually it came to one soccer game where she saw I wasn't exactly at my best and I prodded until she told me if she was dating and she said she was. I turned in all the paperwork that week. I believe we're caught up. Just want you to know I read it all, I feel for you. You are an amazing man and father, I hope you find love again and aren't afraid to give your heart to another again. I'm getting there and I truly appreciate your words. I'm doing my best and trying to be a good father, as difficult as it is to do it from afar. I'm definitely not opposed to finding love again, but it's not something I'm actively looking for. Working on myself and getting to a point where I'm solid in all departments is where my focus is at, and now it's actually getting fun. Travel is now much more open to me, activities are plenty and thankfully dating isn't as daunting as it was. It's nice to see that women have an interest in me. I'm excited for the future and am even thinking of opening up a second business. Your wife was never really into the marriage. My personal thought on all of this is she simply isn't marriage material at this point. Maybe someday she will grow up and become such a person, but for now she simply isn't fit to be a parent or a spouse. However, and this is important, it's not your concern. At least the marriage/relationship part. You do need to keep an eye on her co-parenting skills. It appears she is not up to the task. You may eventually find she is dumping your kid off with whoever will take him while she has her fun. She also may bring in a series of new friends around your son. None of that is acceptable. My recommendation is to try and negotiate more time with your son, but make it scheduled time and not just hey, can you take him today? You will eventually need your own free time for dating and eventually a relationship. Just be sure to take it slowly. In the end, remember that this is a flaw in her, and really has nothing to do with you. She has destroyed 2 families. You did everything you could to prevent it, but it was her choice and she made it. Grieve, then move on. Thankfully she's been smart enough to not bring random dudes around my son. He knows that it isn't right and that she ducked up. She does dump him off at her parents from time to time. She just got back from a week in Italy, my son tells me. She also has been dumping him off at his friends' places, which he's all good with being a teen and all. Rarely wants to hang out with me, but we catch time together here and there. In our agreement we stated that my involvement would be up to him and whether he wanted to have me around or be around me. I didn't get to adopt him and wasn't going to take the bait to get latched down by her in any financial or otherwise way when she offered it after she cheated. Whatever he needs he can tell me and I'll be there. It's worked pretty well so far. I'm trying my best to move on. Dating has been hit and miss and so far, but I've been traveling, working out, having a fair amount of good times. Still grieving that life I wanted, specifically how much I miss my son and seeing him grow. It's a difficult thing having a relationship over the phone, through video games, and the occasional lunch. So she went to Italy with the married guy. So I guess the married guy divorced his wife also. Did you ever reach out to the OBS? I think I would have had to show her I found that note and picture. Then I would have asked if she was proud of herself. I read your whole post. It was the end of the post where I realized the boy was a teenager. So the whole time he knew what was going on. It sounds like your son does not care what the wife did to you. No, thankfully my son didn't know anything about what happened until I told him when the divorce took place. After it was finalized, I told him he could have the truth or accept the glossing over. He opted for the truth, and he was pretty messed up for a little while about losing his dad, let alone how it strained things for him and his mom. These days he's a lot more vocal about his fears that we won't continue to be in contact, and it's made me happy to hear that all of this is on his mind. He tried to apologize for her and I had to super nip that in the bud. AP and her stopped seeing each other, as far as I know, back last November, but who really knows? Don't really care at this point. As for her trip to Italy, my son says she went with her best girlfriend, but I think that's kind of doubtful since her best girlfriend was posting pics here in town social media with her new baby girl that she just had. Just felt bad for him being dumped on his grandparents. I didn't reach out to the OBS. I couldn't quite get in contact. I did ask her about the whole pic and letter and rubbed her nose in it when it was all fresh. Even gave a copy of all the stuff to her parents, who were clearly entirely devastated as well when I gave them all of it. If your son is a teen, why are you not telling him the truth? He isn't stupid and this will strain their relationship. He knows the truth. I told him once the divorce went through. He was stunned and terribly sad. He even tried to apologize for his mom. I told him that none of it is his fault and at no point does he need to apologize for her terrible actions. This weekend we hung out and built a computer together. We're doing pretty good for now. Text sessions, phone calls, and now we're starting to be more active in gaming. That's a great man. My daughter and I are also very close. Without her I don't know if I could have survived her mom's balls tea. So you lost your marriage and self-respect? For a while there, yeah, I did. It's taken a while to get back to some semblance of a healthy mental state, and thankfully once I got a foothold, I started making my way back to a better version of me. It's taken a lot out of me and taught me a lot about wading through it. It's a rough and terrible thing to say the least, but I'm working on me and that's really all that matters. Your ex found a man willing to love her son from another man and threw it away. No other man is going to do that for her. She will someday see that, and when she does, that's when it will hit her that she ducked up. Sometimes people don't realize how much they loved and needed someone until they are gone. Saw your earlier posts. I hope you are doing better than before. Life doesn't always stay the same. People come and go. Your beloved wife cheated on you, and when you gave her options to work things out despite the betrayal she did to you, she replied with "I don't know." You were not the one to end it. She was the one to do it. For now, I would heavily suggest you work on yourself. Hit the gym, do what you love like read a book, hang out with friends, golf, treat yourself a little at an expensive restaurant. Just be proud of yourself. It helps a lot. When you start to feel a little better, try dating. Your chapter with your ex-wife is over. She is free to date whoever she wants, and so are you free to do it. Please do not waste your life recalling the gone memories, but spend it building the newer, happier ones. Absolutely. I was doing pretty rough there, and I totally went and have had some good times and even some crazy ones. I'm working on myself every day, and I'm glad for the little achievements that I've made. Let alone my business thriving and being able to pretty much do as I please. Dating is hit and miss, but it's fun now. It's a weird and difficult kind of deal making friends at 30, so I'm just kind of chugging along on my own, doing the things I like to do. Build computers, go climbing, hiking, tubing, and I can't wait for the winter for snowboarding. My son may even come with me, so I'm excited for that. Great to know it. Good luck on the future, buddy. Sorry ma'am. Crap sandwich she fed you. Glad you filed. There is life after divorce. You sound like a well-balanced, reasonable person. You will do well after your divorce. Trust me in this. Thanks for the update that me and others are asking you. Really, this gives us the possibility to understand your ordeal better. And it's ducking worse. As someone commented here, definitely, she isn't marriage material. If she still hasn't regretted her actions, I am completely convinced that in the future she will regret. With 30 yo, and with a teen son, it will not be easy for her to find someone who loves them as you did. For you, it can still be a little more time, but I am sure that you will find happiness. It was pretty crazy and I too agree, I still need some more time to heal. Taking it a step at a time and we will see what happens. Until then, I'm going to have as much fun as I can. I have the means, I'm getting stronger, and dating is fun so far. We shall see what the future brings. I'm very happy for you. You are finally on the right track. Give you time to heal rightfully. Enjoy your life. You will be happy. I'm sure. OMG. Sorry. But don't you love yourself a little? What happened to your self-respect? I understand that you love the idea of a happy family, but I cannot understand why you put yourself in that situation of misery and suffering. It really hurts to read you. But come on, man. Is this the example you want to give your child? When she comes back asking for your forgiveness, telling you how sorry she is, and that she is willing to work on the relationship, will you take her back? From what I read from your post, apparently yes. You must try therapy urgently, cut with this codependency. Learn to value yourself. Good luck. No joke, man, and thankfully I took those steps as soon as I could get my head right. I'm well on my way to getting back to 100% and I can't tell you how good it feels to be doing my own thing again. She definitely messed me up in those 8.5 years and I let it happen. That is on me. But no, I'm not going to give that example for my son to follow. And thankfully our relationship is going strong thanks to therapy and reading and just working on myself. Sadly, her son will have his own messed up relationships due to his shitty mother. Due to your limited contact, there just isn't much you can change. History tends to repeat itself. She sounds unchanged and will continue to seek out what she can never find. She can enjoy her exotic trips to Italy, but it doesn't change the truly broken human being she really is, who will always be a terrible partner. That's my greatest fear for my son. I try to talk and be a part of his life as much as I can, but I'm certain that you're absolutely right. I agree with your assessment of her. Well, he's continuing to traumatize him by the lying that I'm sure he clearly sees through. My only advice is don't just wait for him to reach out. Reach out yourself and always be there for him. If he gets dumped at his grandparents', that would be a great day to spend picking him and hanging out, or even seeing if you can have him the entire weekend. If you really want to affect change, try harder to hang with him. Expect lots or rejection early on, but don't stop trying. There is likely a deep psychological effect to the divorce where he feels rejection from you even though your words say otherwise. He just doesn't have the mental capacity to handle how terrible your mother is, and he apologizes for her because subconsciously he likely carries guilt for the situation simply because of the awkward circumstances. The best way you can change that is by showing him with action that you consider him your son as much as possible and far more than his mum's school ex. Put in some sweat equity to truly stay a part of his life and make him feel like he has at least one stable parent, even if you're not that way on paper. Your ex had him as a child and doesn't sound as if she ever left that childlike state. Even now she lies to her son. Just why? He likely knows she's lying and recognizes her behaviors are despicable. There is a ton of resentment on his side about how poor an example of behavior she gave. For certain. And when she dumped him on her parents for Italy, she made sure to do it when I was already out of town. I talk to him every day and I try to take him as much as he'll let me. I'm sure some part of him wants to remain loyal to her because, well, she's still his mum. I'm not saying she's dumping off all of the time, but from what he has told me, he's in his room and she's just chilling in the living room or leaving him to go to the gym. I have to tread carefully because for all I know and from other people's experiences, the last thing I want is to have a kidnapping charge against me. I understand your concern, but more than loyalty, he is protecting his feelings from fear of abandonment. He was already abandoned by his birth father, and that's enough trauma for most. The way he is processing this relates back to that abandonment. And in many ways, day to day, he likely feels abandoned by his mother. I completely understand your concern, which is why maybe involving her parents is an option to consider. I completely understand that may be too much for you, and you're well within your right to keep contact low-key if you desire. But this child has a tremendous amount of trauma in his life, and it's still ongoing, and he's far too young to learn to process it. He would benefit tremendously from a fatherly figure providing a level of stability like you do. I'm just saying, don't be afraid of his rejection. He's doing it to protect his own feelings of abandonment and try to stay involved in his life deeper. Or keep things low-key if you prefer. You're really well within your right to do as you choose here, with no true responsibility, and it depends on the type of relationship you want with him as he matures into an adult. Again, totally your choice. I absolutely agree, and I'm going to have to try harder. I'm definitely not afraid of his rejection. I'm constantly trying to make sure if he has any anger or sadness or any other feelings to help him talk about, process, and be okay with having them, because he shouldn't push them down. I'd prefer that he choose to be with me, and I've offered that up, and he seems receptive. I guess time will tell, and I'll just keep putting in more effort. Just don't want to drive him away. My experience on kids like this is he's building an emotional wall because he experiences so much rejection in his young life, including now with his unengaged mother, and you'll have to fight a little harder to truly earn his trust as a reliable parental figure. But the harder you fight now, the far more rewarding it will be to watch him grow into a man and seek advice from you in life versus his mother or mother's flavor of the week. You don't have to keep talking about the circumstances of the breakup and such. Just be there like any father figure, talk about his life and interests and give advice. Focus hard on yours and his relationship. Here is the most important thing to reflect on. Her dad gave me the same advice that you all gave me. Get a lawyer, get all my ducks in a row, and then file. Even her dad gave up hope. You might want to consider going nuclear with custody due to the neglect. I generally avoid talking custody, but what you described was not something I'd be comfortable leaving my cat with, let alone a child. I wish I could, but the last thing I want is for him to end up in the system, though I'm sure his grandparents would snag him and he'd just be in the same boat, if not worse off. I have no legal clout in this because I wasn't allowed to adopt him. Her whole excuse during our time together was that she didn't want her baby daddy to come and try to take him or have mandatory shared custody. It was really all bullshit. Once she admitted to cheating, she tried to offer adoption. I wasn't going to be taken advantage of, so I simply put it in our agreement that my son could contact me and I with him, and as long as I don't leave town with him, I don't need permission to have time with him. I didn't realize you weren't the bio dad. It read as if you were the bio dad. That makes things a lot more complicated, but you have a few things going for you. 1. You can still establish your role as the father of the child, and people that are not biologically the father can get custody. It is a lot harder because the laws are set up to screw the father in favor of the mother, and a non-biological father has a tougher road, but if you can establish that you are a better parent for your son, that will go a long way in establishing custody. 2. Her parents actually seem to like you from what you mentioned. If they are able to get custody, they will likely allow you to be a 50-50 co-parent or possibly more. But they might have to get custody so you can get custody. 3. Whatever happens, you are thinking in the best interests of your son. That will make every choice you make guilt-free when you can look yourself in the mirror every step of the way knowing you are doing right by your son. If she is a danger to your son or can screw with the agreement, you need protection. She might agree now, but what if she gets mad at you and wants to hurt you? She already did that to the bio dad. I'm not saying that it isn't justified with the bio dad because I don't know, but it is a possibility. You did awesome navigating this shit show. Bravo, clapping. Thank you. It was indeed a shit show, but I'm here now and working toward greater things. I appreciate the support. It sounds like a very classic case to me. She and AP are in a limo and saw a fair fog. You do the pick-me dance. She can't make up her mind. You file for divorce. Once the divorce is complete, AP dumps because he doesn't want to cheat a wife. By the time that happens, you've moved on and don't want her back. That's how the scenario usually works out. Q, has your ex-wife been trying to make contact? Or is she too ashamed to admit she messed up a good, loving marriage? It might be wise, as suggested, to get in touch with AP's wife. It is usually suggested in a situation like this if you're looking for closure. She seems like she's going through some type of midlife crisis on having mental issues. In the meantime, be the best person you can be and keep moving forward. I would say the exact same thing. She has been reaching out, small things like taking pictures of junk mail to try to get me to talk about it. After I built a computer this weekend, she sent me a message about how my son loves it with a white heart emoji. I just give one-word answers or no answer at all. I would agree with that assessment. I mean, she had my son at 16, got together with me at 21, got married to me at 30, so I could see where her mind state would be primed for both a midlife crisis and mental issues. I'm good at closure. Once the divorce went through, that's all the closure I needed, and have been working on myself and improving my life since then. Still working on it and realizing that it's a continuous process, but it can be fun as hell too. Can't wait for the winter to come so I can see where I'm going to go snowboarding. Man, read your history. Conclusion: as long as you're doing better, you're the winner. Once you've healed mentally, half the battle is won, the rest will follow naturally, physical health, etc. Perhaps one that is worthy of you, assuming you're still with the same girl mentioned in your post history. As for your boy, he's at a crucial age, 14 this November. Show him what you are should be. Take care, thumbs up. Thank you so much. I'm certainly at a much better place than I was when this all started back last Sept/October. Still healing mentally, but I'm doing great and happily free from feeling anything for my ex. All of the reading, meditating, working out, and travel has been a huge boon in getting my head to a place where I've been healing. Not with the same girl, and that's okay, just been dating around and it's been fun. Just figuring things out, as well as continuing to figure out myself. Welcome partner can come and go, but not your happiness, as it shouldn't be defined by others but you. Heard wise man learn from others' mistakes. To me, real man go through their mistake not necessarily to emerge victorious, but definitely got to be smarter. Focus on gaining knowledge by reading up lot of references around your success will be the best reward to yourself. She broke you doesn't mean you stay broken. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice you don't have to choose. You're good, take care, good, thumbs up, thumbs up. The guy keeps being a doormat. I was indeed a doormat, man. Still working on it, to be honest. Thankfully, therapy and lots of reading and working on myself seems to be what is needed, and I'll get there. I looked at your post history. If you keep being this way, you will never be able to move on. Your ex-wife is doing fine. She would eventually move on to greener pastures. You will be left broken. Oh man, it's been a bit since my last post. This one was because someone had asked about what had happened. I'm far removed from all this, and I can't tell you how glad I am to be done with feeling that way. Still in therapy and still reading my ass off and working on myself. But no joke, had I kept on that way, I would be all ducked up, to be honest. Still a little tender, but otherwise, I'm indifferent about her. I just truly miss my son. That's all that I have tugging on my heartstrings right now. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.